Did I scare you? I know I did, didn't I? It's all for the theme for today's video, guys. Today we're gonna be doing some scary stuff. Well, it's 3:33, so spooky hour. I'm a horror freak. Scary games, scary movies, well, I'm there. There is a YouTuber named Llama Arts, unique name. They make scary animations. We're really gonna react to these videos. Tell me what you think in the comment section. So let's try this. Make a series. Spooky Friday. Today's Friday night. So Spooky Friday. How about this? Okay. Let's start this. This first video is called Playhouse. Video link and channel link will be in the description. Llama Arts, don't copyright me. I'm just a fan who is gonna react to your videos. So let's hop in. The Playhouse.
We live on several acres in rural Indiana, USA. Our neighbors aren't too far apart, but we all live on a lot of property. On our properties, we have a lot of trees, and our neighbor doesn't maintain their property well, so a lot of it's overgrown. You know, a couple of fallen trees and a lot of downed branches. We knew the state of their property was probably because it was an older couple that owned the house and the property was vast. We have a creek separating our homes as well, but a small strip of their property is accessible from our backyard. Due to the overgrowth in trees, we weren't able to see much of their property when we first moved
I like
in
the
in
animations.
summer. And of course, we didn't go onto their land because we didn't want to trespass. One night, my daughter and her friend were camping in the backyard and ran inside, swearing that they heard a kid laughing or crying in our backyard. I figured it was their imagination from too many scary stories while in the tent, but went out to investigate briefly just in case. I heard a faint noise coming from just beyond our property line. I moved the flashlight into the general direction and called out to whoever may be in the trees. The sound stopped. I decided it was probably just a couple of stray cats, but just in case, I had the girls set up the tent in the living room. The next day, after taking my daughter's friend home, curiosity got the best of me, and I decided to investigate the area by our property line.
Every horror movie started with this. Curiosity. And ghosts like curiosity, you know.
As I neared the line of trees, I saw a small path I had never noticed before. Since I knew my neighbors were too far and the trees were too thick, they couldn't see me on their property, so I stepped onto the small path. I walked slowly, looking down, watching for poison ivy and fallen branches. I wasn't too far in when I saw a dirty, broken kid's toy on the ground, wrapped in overgrown weeds. I looked up, and in the distance I saw a small, white shed-like structure. As I got closer, there were more and more toys scattered on the ground, some partially buried, all broken and dirty. Then there was barbed wire, and I could see the front of the shed and realized it was a large playhouse with a wooden alphabet decorating the outside. I was starting to feel uneasy. This playhouse was at least half a mile or more from the only house on the property. I stopped in my tracks, letting my imagination go a little, when I felt a tap on my shoulder. I must have jumped a foot off the ground, only to turn around and see that my daughter had followed me. Once my heart slowed down, I decided to get a closer look. There was more broken barbed wire fencing on the ground the closer we got. The window on the side was broken, and there was a hole in the roof. There was a broken train set, one a kid would be able to ride on. The front door had a white piece of wood set to lock someone in, not keep people out. At this point, my daughter was in full panic mode and begging for us to walk back to our house. But I had to at least look through the window or my mind would wander with all the possibilities of what
Man,
could be in
just
there.
curiosity.
As I was stepping to the side of the shed, my daughter was following close behind. In her fear, she was paying more attention to me than where she was stepping, and
Oh,
she cut her leg pretty deep on some barbed wire that was hidden in overgrowth.
you
I
didn't
quickly
even
glanced
notice?
inside the window, only to see a partially dirt floor and broken wood, and a large wooden bench with a dark stain on top.
Man, your daughter is wounded. You didn't even notice that. You're following this. Man.
I picked up my daughter, who was determined her leg was going to fall off.
Ah.
We left the neighbor's property, and I took her to the doctor to get a tetanus shot and get her cleaned up. That night after dinner, I let the dog out, but couldn't get her to come back in. I let her stay outside for a while and checked again a little later. Our dog still wouldn't come in, and I noticed she was standing by the path we took earlier. I grabbed a flashlight and her leash and headed out to her. She was pacing, whining, and sniffing around everywhere. I figured it was from the blood earlier, but she never ventured onto the path. Then, I heard the giggling of a little girl. I called out to the child, but there was no answer in return, just some rustling in the leaves. I ran inside with the dog to check on my daughter to make sure that she was still in the house. She was laying in bed, fast asleep. The next morning, I went straight to the playhouse, but as I was approaching, something was wrong. The broken toys seemed to be in different places, and when I got to the playhouse, my heart felt like it was a ton of bricks. All over the side of the playhouse were children's drawings, in my daughter's blood.
Damn. So the next video is called Inhuman Entity Sleep Paralysis Horror Story Animated. Alright. Yeah, it's a problem. Many people have this sleep paralysis. Some people say it's some kind of paranormal uh, thing, but some people believe that it has some biological explanation. I don't know. I didn't face this in my life. Many stories about this sleep paralysis. It's a horrible thing, man. It is. Okay, let's start this. Human entity.
A cool breeze crept through the valley outside of Telluride, Colorado, as my friends and I unloaded the truck parked on the dirt driveway.
With the
We had
HD.
recently started renting an old mining house built in the early 1900s. Most of the home had been renovated over the years, but there were still glimpses of what the house used to be. The exterior of the home was painted a bright yellow and adorned a blood-red door. The yard was abundant, with lush green grass, minus the few brown patches that littered the ground. In the corner of the yard sat a dilapidated gazebo, filled to the brim with landscaping equipment. I stood facing the house, admiring the quaint ambiance it seemed to exude. I felt something hit my back and spun around. My brother, William, was standing behind me with a box under his right arm. "Let's pick up the pace, we don't have all day," he said, with a little annoyance masked in his voice. Yeah, I responded, and started walking to the back of the truck. My other two friends, Elijah and Leon, were in the process of stacking some boxes on a dolly. "Hey man, take this to my room," Elijah said, as he handed me a large box. I resituated it in my arms and gripped it. As I did so, I could hear glass clanging inside, and a strong, familiar odor starting to leak out. "Hey man, be careful," Elijah snapped. "If you ever want to smoke again, I'd highly advise one step at a time there, champ." "Maybe if you didn't throw everything into one single box without bubble wrap, then you wouldn't have an issue of something breaking, Elijah," Leon responded. Elijah's eyes widened, as if he had just figured out the secrets of the universe. I laughed, turned around, and proceeded into the house. The floorboards creaked as I stepped onto the warped living room floor. I surveyed my surroundings of the old rustic home as I headed to Elijah's
Look at these
bedroom.
houses haunted.
Only 2 interior rooms
Who
had been
colored
renovated in the
their
entire
house yellow?
One being the kitchen, which had marble countertops and new appliances. The
Okay.
other being my room. I was the one who found the home on the market, so respectively I had first choice of which room I wanted to claim as my own. The other rooms, on the other hand, were still the same as they had been since the early 1900s, with dreary wooden floorboards and old chipping paint.
Dude, what the hell?
William yelled from upstairs. I quickly climbed the narrow stairway to find my brother in his room. I walked in to find what looked like to be a large lump underneath the wooden floorboards. It almost looked like Andre the Giant was buried in the middle of the room. I told you it was an old home, Will. Things shift over time, I said, trying to hold my snickering back. Yeah, I get that, but you didn't say...
I heard a noise. Sorry, guys.
that I'd have to maneuver around a speed bump, he snapped back. I took a deep sigh and turned to him. Okay, look man, we're only gonna be here for a year. You've got plenty of room to put your bed so you're not sleeping on an incline. William turned back to the floor dejected. That's easy for you to say. You're not staying on the cover of Sticky Fingers by the Rolling Stones. After we had moved everything into
Someone bodied over there. I'm out of this house, man.
the house, we all plopped down on the couch, beers in hand, and began our well-deserved R&R. Elijah had already begun smoking, and the room started to fill with the pungent odor. So are we gonna be doing some ghost hunting tonight, boys? Elijah said, as he passed the joint to Leon. Oh, come on, you don't actually believe that crap, do you? Leon responded as he was rolling his eyes.
It's like we all have this one friend who always give us the wrong ideas. Ghost hunting. What the hell, man?
The guy blew his brains out on the front porch in the 1930s. I'd be surprised if there wasn't a ghost floating through the halls. I mean, how do you think we got such a killer deal on rent? William said as he lifted his arms and started mimicking the sounds of a specter. Shut up. It's all nonsense. You've just been watching too much Ghost Hunters, I responded. But anyway, I'm gonna go to bed. We need to get up early to do some cleaning. Good night, guys. I stood up and meandered to my room. In all reality, I was a little perturbed by what happened at this house. I've always been quite agnostic to beliefs of ghosts or spirits, but I've never witnessed anything myself. The rent was super cheap for an entire house, and I wanted to save some money for a trip outside of the country. I pushed the fact that someone had ended their life to the back of my mind. I wish things would have turned out much differently. I entered my room and slid under my sheets and basked in the warmth of my bed. It had been a long day and my body ached from moving. I grabbed my phone and looked for a rain and thunder YouTube video to help me sleep, and after about 15 minutes, I crept into comfortable darkness. My eyes shot open in the middle of the night. The moonlight shone through my window and enveloped my room in comforting light. I could hear creaking from the house as the wind howled outside. I tried to sit up, but found my efforts futile. Sleep paralysis was a regular occurrence in my life. It happened at least once a month due to stress and a little help from my antidepressants.
Routine.
At this point, I'd almost gotten used to it. I could hear what sounded like a light scratching noise coming from inside my room, and prepared myself for the usual dark figure to be standing in the corner. My eyes darted from left to right, trying to decipher where the noise was coming from. It was then I started to hear skittering, like someone or something was moving around. A cold feeling crept over my body.
You can't even
as
do
I
anything
started sweating profusely.
because your body is like
My sheets
paralyzed.
becoming soaked. The skittering stopped, but was replaced by
Can't even
a
talk, can't
cracking,
even move.
one that resembled that of broken bone. Out of my peripheral vision, I could see long, needle-like limbs protruding
Oh
from my
my.
closet. They each moved slowly, tapping the wall as if they were looking for something.
Hell no.
I then saw a large, bulbous black mass starting to show itself from the closet door. It was coated in tiny hairs and twitched almost
Shit, man.
habitually. A loud moan
It's a
echoed
spider.
throughout my room as the creature finally presented itself.
It's a giant spider.
A spider-like entity was situated on my wall. The reason I say spider-like was because its head had been replaced with that of a human one.
What?
Its eyes were blacked out from the shadows of moonlight, and its lower
Oh.
jaw was removed.
Man, damn. Ugh. What is this? Liquor from Resident Evil?
Revealing a blotchy tongue that oozed saliva.
A venom.
It was about the size of a twin bed and stared at me for what seemed like hours. My heart was racing. I was begging my body to move, but to no avail. I was stuck there, in suspended torment. I tried
Shit.
screaming, but I was unable to make a sound. All I could do was watch the creature on my wall as it grew closer. Suddenly, it skidded to the ceiling right above me and started scratching with its two front legs, almost like it was burrowing. It then started to sink into the wall, as if the wall had turned into quicksand.
I do this.
First, the abdomen, then the legs.
Jeez.
Eventually, all that was left was its mangled
Sheesh,
head staring
man.
straight at me. Those cold, dead eyes boring into my soul. I could hear it moaning, and I could feel the drips of saliva hit my torso. The creature then let out an inhuman roar and vanished into my ceiling. My body was finally released, and I jolted out of my bed screaming. As I did, the house erupted into more terrified outcries coming from upstairs. Apparently, I wasn't the only one who saw something, and, unfortunately, it wouldn't be the last time either.
Damn. That was really horrifying. Okay guys, sorry for the interruption. I have to say something, otherwise you will get confused. The current video you are watching was shooted in my previous apartment. Recently, we have moved, and for some reason I couldn't finish shooting this video. Actually, for some editing issue. So from this moment, rest of the video, actually from now on, all the other videos will be in my new house. So with that being said, let's continue this video. Welcome to my new house. Well, after a long time, continuing my video. I'm an idiot. Okay. Okay, don't mind the background. Actually, I was working on a project. Okay. So let's continue our video. In the last video, we are going to see this. Well, it's called Night 5. There's something in my apartment. That's a bad news, isn't it? Full sound. Well, I guess it's not animation. Okay, okay. It's not. I'm already getting scared. Oh, it's small. It's a small video. 1 minute 27 seconds. I hate I hate the silence. Don't. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Light's not working. Dude, just leave. Oh. That was insane. Dude, this 1 minute was more intense than a AAA horror movie. Alright guys, I guess that's it. That's enough for this video. Spooky Friday. Let's try to continue this series. Yeah, you can send me horror videos. I will react to them on my Discord. That link will be down in the description. Like, share, and below the subscribe button. See you next time on maybe episode 2 of Spooky Friday. Until then, bye bye.